up, Sauce Gang, and welcome back to the channel. Hot Sauce Beats here with another game theory reaction for you, but this one is different, a lot different. This is called Which US President is an Epic Gamer AI Presidents. Now, this has been all over my For You page and recommended for about maybe the past week, 2 weeks of presidents playing games. Obviously, it's not real, it's all AI generated, but apparently it's getting big enough that it's warranting a video from MatPat at Game Theory on the lore behind it. But I'll be on hype to jump in this, but before we do, make sure you show MatPat at Game Theory some love by subscribing to his channel. And if you enjoy my reaction, smash that subscribe button because it greatly helps. But enough talking, let's get to reacting and roll that bomb ass intro.
Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Eat, sleep, make beats. Eat, sleep, make beats.
Hot Sauce Beats. Woo, woo. Cause it's a Game Theory. Let's go. Ooh, are they playing FNAF?
What was that?
Gee, Sleepy Joe, that's Freddy Fazbear. That sound means he's getting closer to the office.
Why can't we just leave this pizza place? Can't we just get some ice cream?
Because, Joe, that's the whole point of the game.
We
you
just
can't
get some,
leave.
dude,
That's
yes.
what makes it scary.
Guys, can you keep it down? I'm trying to concentrate.
Geez, MatPat, you're using a lot of power. You wouldn't last 1 minute playing 2020 mode, which I totally beat on my first try, by the way.
First
Donald,
try.
you're so
It was
full of it,
huge.
you probably died during the night one phone call. But, MatPat, you should be checking cams more to make sure Foxy stays in Pirates Cove.
Mr. President, you might know about foreign
Dude,
policy, but
that's
5 Nights at
epic,
Freddy's
bro.
is kind of my territory.
We,
Sit back. Watch how
we
the
need
master
actual
does it.
presidents to play FNAF. It might save the world.
Wow, you suck at this game.
Seriously.
Good thing you don't have a Let's Play channel.
Gotcha, GT Live.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game
Theory.
The Uncle Sam of the Internet that wants you to subscribe
an
for
odd
meme
video,
videos
chat.
that no one in their right mind would ask for. And oh boy, do we have a weird episode for you today.
Yeah,
Lately,
you
I've
do,
been
baby.
gorging myself
Yeah,
on
you
the
do.
latest trend to strike the Internet: U.S. presidents playing video games. I don't know if
Literally,
this
this has been all over my recommended
one's
page.
reached your corner of the internet yet, but we now have ourselves videos of Obama, Trump, and Biden all getting on a Discord call together to put aside their political differences and just enjoy a round
They're
of
becoming
Minecraft
best of
with the
friends.
boys. Kinda. Obviously, these aren't real presidents checking their KD ratios. Instead, these are creators taking voice clips of previous presidents and feeding them into AI text-to-speech software and AI voice filters so they can then make the president say whatever they want him to say. So naturally, the internet did the only logical thing you would do with that sort of power. They turned them into
That's why the
gamers.
internet stays
They've played
undefeated,
Mario
chat.
Party, they've debated Smash tier lists.
Oh, wow.
They've even argued about the FNAF timeline.
Obviously, Elizabeth Afton died before 5 Nights at Freddy's 4. Why else would her bedroom be empty? She's dead, Joe.
Donald, that makes zero sense. Just because Elizabeth's bedroom is empty does not mean that she's dead.
This is kind of making me regret not inviting President Biden to our
Yes!
recent live FNAF
You
talk
gotta do
back.
some
Would've
FNAF
loved to
lore
hear
with the
his thoughts on
presidents.
recent ID's fantasy video. Anyway, my recommended tab
You
has
gotta.
been filled to the brim of my Abe Lincoln stovepipe hat with this sort of stuff. And personally, I am all about it. And after losing days of my
Huge.
life to binging these videos, naturally that dumb side of my theory brain started to kick into gear, and I couldn't help but wonder, what if the real presidents actually played these games? And more importantly, who would actually
This is
be
so
the
silly,
best?
bro.
And I'm not just talking about the modern 3 that we see kicking around these videos. I'm talking about all the presidents. All 45 of the past U.S.
Oh, wow.
executives in chief.
Oh, we-
and
we-
for those
we
of you
bust-
heading down to the
busting
comments
all
right
of 'em
now
out.
to say that Biden is the 46th president, clearly you've forgotten about President Cleveland, who was elected to 2 non-consecutive terms, thereby making him both our 22nd and 24th president. Thus, Biden is only the 45th person to ever be U.S. president. That is the first of many little
Thank
history
you.
nuggets that we'll be exploring
Thank you,
in
Matt
this
Pat,
episode, dear
for
theorists.
giving
So
us
let's
that
fire up
knowledge.
our time
Dropping
machines,
them
hop
truth
onto the
bombs
Discord
on
with
us.
the boys, and whip out those gamer headsets. It's time to inaugurate our first ever gamer-in-chief. So, to start off with,
what
how
up,
exactly are we
Washington?
going to settle this one? Almost all of our presidents were born way before the invention of TVs and computers, let alone video games. In fact,
That's
only
true.
Barack Obama was born after the creation of the first video game. And this is what that one looked like. So, not exactly fertile ground for our potential POTUS players. That being said, the presidents were pretty talented.
Dude, that's a pretty crazy thought that Barack Obama is the only one that was born after the first game was made. Wow. Wow. That's a crazy
they ascended to the
fact.
highest office in the land to become leader of the free world. They're obviously going to be good at some stuff, right? But which of the traits are actually going to help them become the kings of Kong, the sultans of Smash, the maestros of Mario? Let's just go
maestros
through
of
some of the skills that
Mario.
we know make
Let's
good
go.
gamers, and then look through the historical records to see if any of our presidents can fit the mold of the most elitist
maybe
of
like
gamers.
check chess.
Fortunately for us,
Were
there's
any of
been
them
a
big
huge
chess
surge
players?
of research into what actually makes the best gamers.
Monopoly?
Finally, we're
Did they
getting
play
ourselves some
Monopoly?
scientific recognition. And one of the key things that studies have pointed to is raw intelligence. With so many players playing video
Raw
games these days, there's a
Not
collective
cooked.
desire to find
Not cooked intelligence, chat, but raw. Is that? That is Dark Viper.
out the most elaborate and efficient strategies. That means that the amount of information you have to juggle at once is higher than ever before. I mean, feels like you kind of need a PhD in Pokemon battling just to be able to play versus battles online, let alone competing in real-life tournaments.
I gave my Screamtail enough investment to
kinda
outspeed
like-
Choice Scarf Annihilate. Then I invested enough in its defense to allow it to survive Adamant Life Orb, Max Attack, King Gambit, Iron
That's
Head,
like
which is a
playing
very
Madden
powerful,
Online
super
too.
effective
I mean,
attack.
people are so stinking good at it.
Whatever they were, a study from the University of York did end up showing a strong correlation between players who were best at MOBA games like League of Legends and Dota 2 and how they performed on IQ tests, with the most
wow.
skilled players having the highest IQ scores. So if the top gamers are the ones with the highest IQs, which of our American presidents is ready to pull off those big-brained plays?
Big brain
Enter
moves.
Keith Simonton, a professor out of UC Davis who published a study back in 2006 in the Journal of Political Psychology.
Our
that he
smartest
attempted to
presidents?
calculate the IQ and other traits of all the presidents, from George Washington to George W. Bush.
I wanna know
He did
who's the
this by
smartest and who's the
analyzing their speeches
dumbest.
and other public
We gotta know
records.
both sides
Not
of
like
it.
he could go out and give Millard Fillmore an IQ test or anything. Some of the presidents that occupied his top spots probably aren't too surprising. You've got Thomas Jefferson, writer of the Declaration of Independence, John F. Kennedy, who was able to read 1,200 words per minute, which is 5 times the human average, and Franklin Pierce, a president that none of us remember, but who had himself a pretty solid memory considering he memorized his entire 3,300 word inaugural address by heart. To give you some context, a typical game
That's
theory script
intense,
is about
dude.
3,500 words. So this guy has got Rosalina is Peach's daughter theory on lock. All that being said though, standing alone at the
Dude,
top of the IQ
I have the world's worst memory. It doesn't mean I'm stupid. I'm pretty freaking smart. But my memory is absolute trash, dude. Good luck me trying to remember your name.
leaderboard with a skull-shattering IQ of 175. It's our 6th president, John Quincy Adams.
Quincy
175
Adams,
IQ is higher
bruh.
than one of the most notable smart men in history, Mr. Albert Einstein. So, you know, if
wow.
you put JQA into the MOBA arena, he's gonna stomp on the competition.
Epic
but
gamer.
obviously, IQ isn't the be-all, end-all here. The study even acknowledges this. While players with the highest IQ scores were the best at MOBAs like League of Legends and Dota, there wasn't a strong correlation between intellect and
So
more
crazy,
action-based
too.
games like first-person shooters. While MOBAs rely on memory
Imagine
and strategic
presidents
decisions,
gaming.
first-person
It's-
shooters
I think
have a
we need to
focus
make it
on
happen.
speed and
We
target
make a
accuracy.
president's
And if our
league.
gamer president is gonna dominate the entire gaming scene, he's gonna need a little of both. And knowing that, one skill that is useful for a wide variety of games is reaction time. Your typical gamer has a reaction time somewhere between 300 and 500 milliseconds, but professional gamers, the top echelon of the gaming world, they have themselves some superhuman reflexes. They top out with reaction times under 200 milliseconds.
Bro,
That
wow.
tenth of a second difference there is literally the blink of an eye. And while that might not sound like much, that gap
Gaming it
can
is, for
end
sure.
up being the difference between getting the clutch kill and getting demoted to Silver 5 in Overwatch again. Now, we've talked on this
Wah,
channel before
wah,
about
wah.
how age can affect your reaction time. Research has been done that shows your reaction times peak in your early to mid-20s and then starts to slowly drop off as you get older. Considering you can't even
So,
become
does
president
that mean
until
they're
you're
bad in your
35,
30s?
It means that all of our options are outside of their prime. Younger presidents like Teddy Roosevelt, JFK, and Bill Clinton might have a better shot, but none of them are going to be ideal. So, do we have any other evidence of presidents demonstrating S-tier reaction times? I mean, I guess
look
there was
at
that one
reaction
time that
time.
George W. Bush dodged not just one, but 2 shoes that were thrown at him by an Iraqi journalist during a speech in 2008. That was pretty impressive. Not only did he dodge
Dude, how do I not know about this? How is this not something I know
I
about?
guess there was that one time that George W. Bush dodged not just one, but 2 shoes that were thrown at him by an Iraqi journalist during a speech in 2008. That was pretty
He
impressive.
just smiled like, bro, what is this moron doing?
Not only did he dodge attacks from the local Foot Locker, he then had the gamer instincts to identify their size.
If you want the facts, it's a size 10 shoe that he threw.
That being said, if you're looking for something a little more legitimate than dodging some Air Jordans, then just call for Daddy.
Oh,
Bush's
W,
dad, to
you're
be
awesome,
specific.
fam.
George H.W. Bush was a pilot during World War II, flying a General Motors TBM Avenger during the war, a plane that could reach speeds of 276 miles per hour or 123 meters a second. In that blink of an eye, 100 milliseconds, he'd have traveled 40 feet, 12 meters. That's the length of a full-sized school bus,
That's
which
pretty
could
crazy.
be fatal if he doesn't react fast enough. But he managed to fly over 58 combat missions, including earning the Distinguished Flying Cross after surviving a dangerous mission that left most of the other pilots that went out dead. All in all, it means that
wow.
once Pappy Bush gets a hold of that controller, there's no stopping him. But if I had to bet 20 bucks
Pappy
on which
Bush!
president would be
Oh,
the best when it
Pappy!
came to reaction time,
Pappy
well,
Bush!
I bet on Mr. 20 himself, bloody Andrew Jackson. Because what's faster than a speeding plane? A speeding bullet. Jackson was never too afraid to line up against anyone who crossed him in a good old-fashioned duel. Now, these weren't the quick
wow.
draws that you see in old Western movies, but instead tended to follow either British or French rules. Opponents would either stand opposite each other, guns pointed, and then fire when the signal was given, or they would stand back to back and take a set amount of paces before turning and firing. A la Hamilton.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, number 10 paces, fire!
Or more recently, John Wick 4. Regardless, both required you to be able to react quickly while also having incredible accuracy. Now, we don't know for sure which...
Dude, how about that for president settling beef, man? Just, let's have an old-fashioned duel. Yeah, you don't like my politics? Pew pew! Take that, suckers!
These types of duels Jackson participated in, but some estimates suggest that he survived over 100, which means that his reaction time had to be pretty spot on. Now, of course, video games aren't just about
Jackson
hitting the
was
buttons the
legit
quickest. Daphne Vivelier,
BA,
professor of brain
bad
and cognitive
booty.
sciences at the University of Rochester, showed that gamers
100
perform
duels,
significantly
dude.
better on tests of attention, speed, accuracy, vision, and most importantly of all, multitasking when
Seeing
compared
shades
to
of
their
gray,
non-gamer
huh?
peers. Games nowadays are demanding more and more of our attentional resources and requiring us to split it amongst various different tasks and objectives. Long gone are the Atari days where you just had a little triangle shooting asteroids. Whether it's analyzing your opponent's moves in Smash or juggling 50 different animatronic attack patterns in Custom Night, a true gamer needs to be able to manage multiple things at once in order to win. So who among our presidential players has demonstrated some high-level multitasking abilities? Well, there's always President Lyndon Johnson, who used to have meetings while sitting on the toilet with the door open
That's
in front of his staff.
multitasking.
I guess that's a type of multitasking.
Very
All of
good
these, man, are
multitasking.
just the worst, aren't they? There are also other more normal examples, like John F. Kennedy, who would draw little sailboats during intense meetings, which is a little concerning to think about. Like, was he doodling catamarans during the Cuban Missile Crisis? Although I guess he got the job done, so we can't really fault him on that one. But it's one thing to be able to do 2 tasks that involve different areas of the brain. It's another to be able to do 2 tasks that involve the same part of the brain, which is exactly what Bill Clinton would do. He would have himself some serious political conversations with advisors while also solving the New York Times crossword puzzle. I mean, it's pretty hard to do 2 things that both require language processing. The wires are going to get easily crossed, which thereby makes what Billy C did that much more impressive. In a video game, Clinton would be able to take in
Billy C. Like
everything
that.
that's going on, but still have the brain power to start trash talking the competition. And speaking of, I think we can all agree, even if science doesn't reflect it, trash talk
Trump
an
would be the
essential
best
part
trash-
of that gamer experience.
And Reggie, for being the president of Nintendo, you suck at Smash Bros.
So I spend 16 hours a day running a company. You spend 16 hours a day playing Smash. So
If presidents of Nintendo need to trash talk to be the best, well then presidents of America need to do the same. And let's be honest with ourselves, most presidential campaigns at this point are just chances for them to trash talk each other.
You mentioned the Navy, for example, and that we have fewer ships than we did in 1916. Well, Governor, we also have fewer horses and bayonets because the nature of our military's changed.
I have as much experience in the Congress as Jack Kennedy did.
I served with Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
And when it comes to the absolute king of trash talk, there's no one else to choose
You're no
but
Jack
William
Kennedy,
Henry Harrison.
sucker.
During the election of 1840, Harrison and his VP pick John Tyler were running to unseat President Martin Van Buren. Harrison's campaign released a 12-verse diss track that let me just play a little clip of it.
And with them will be little Van. Van is our used up man. And with them will be little
Is this
Van.
real?
Yeah, this guy was dropping bars way before Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's no surprise with sick beats like that, they did end up beating Little Van Buren, and then Harrison died a month into office after catching pneumonia. But hey, now at least he can be remembered for more than just shortest tenure in office. Outside of trash talk, there's also some
is that like the oldest diss track in mankind?
Made mostly known for his botched response to the Great Depression and the Hoover Dam, was the original Minecraft streamer. I mean, prior to being president, he got rich as a mining scout and engineer. He just had a sixth sense for finding gold. This man would have had a full enchanted gold armor set before you put down your first crafting table. And the last thing that I gotta call out here is that no matter how good you are as a gamer, eventually you're gonna fail. But what's important is having the determination to get back up. And there's one president I think demonstrates this better than anyone, because he literally got back up after being shot. On October 14th, 1912, while campaigning to become president, Teddy Roosevelt was shot while giving a speech. The bullet went through his glasses case, his 50-page speech, and then lodged itself in his chest. Not only did he survive, he was like, yeah, I suppose I'm not coughing up blood or anything, so I'm probably okay. And he went on to finish the dang speech. If that's not gamer determination, I don't know what is. The problem is, all these fun facts and pieces of scientific research are interesting, but I still feel no closer to figuring out the answer.
There was another president, I think it was Reagan. I think it was Ronald Reagan. Like, I think a balloon popped, but it sounded like a bullet, and he's like, you missed!
There isn't really a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to finding our best gamer president. There are some skills that may be suited to one game or another, but no one's truly the best at all of them. So maybe I've been looking at the question all wrong. Maybe the gamer president isn't the best in a single category, but is consistently good across all of the board.
I think that's what we need to look at.
Well-rounded stats across all the things that we just talked
charting everything,
about.
tracking
and during
it
my research,
all around.
There was one guy that absolutely fit the bill. The gamer energy runs deep with this one. It runs so deep that his great-grandson is actually the inventor of Magic the Gathering, the OG trading card game. The undisputed ultimate gamer president would have to be, drumroll please, President Garfield.
Really?
No, not that one. James Garfield, the 20th president of the United States. But yeah, even his name is a meme. Fun fact, by the way, the lasagna-loving feline came afterwards, actually named after the creator's grandfather, who himself was named after President Garfield. Now, not only is this man rocking out the gamer
I'm
gear,
learning
James
so much
Garfield
stuff here.
is smart.
So much.
Really smart. Boasting around 150 IQ, ranking him in the top 10 of presidents, and also puts him on par with inventor Thomas Edison. Sure, it's not Einstein levels, but that's still pretty dang solid. Plus, he proved his nerdiness beyond just raw IQ. During Garfield's 9 terms in Congress, he developed a proof for the Pythagorean theorem using trapezoids. This wasn't just a fun little back-of-the-napkin calculation either. He had it published in the New England Journal of Education, and he did it while shooting the breeze with his colleagues in the congressional cafeteria. Intelligence, my name is Garfield.
You like eggs, huh? Well, have you ever ate eggs and thought about Pythagorean theorem?
German, Greek, and Latin. And it gets even cooler than that. He was ambidextrous, meaning that he was good at using both his right and his left hands to show off.
Dude, I'm so bad. Have you guys ever tried, so if you're right-handed, you ever tried doing something with your left hand or vice versa? Every now and then, whenever like, so my daughters play volleyball and basketball, but I don't know, I'll just like do something left-handed to mess around with them, and I look so, it's so awkward. Like I can't even throw left-handed, man. I'm one-armed. I'm basically like the one-armed man.
Off his bihandular prowess, he would ask his guests to give him a question that he'd then write his answer to in Latin with one hand and in Greek with the other hand at the same time. If that isn't an incredible show of both hand-eye coordination and multitasking, I don't know what is. His reaction times also weren't something to be overlooked. He, like many of our presidents, served in the military during part of his life and actually fought in a few high-powered battles during the American Civil War. While there doesn't seem to be any record of his actual skills with a gun, the fact that he not only helped to win the Battle of Shiloh, the bloodiest of the war, but also walked away completely uninjured shows that he must have had some level of skill when it came to firing his own weapon and avoiding others. Or, you know, maybe just hid in the corner and camped the whole time, which again, that's a very valid gamer skill that works for a lot of people.
A lot of people love camping.
There are 2 things about Garfield that I'm sure a lot of you hashtag gamers out there can relate to. Well, he was certainly born before the invention of the video game. He was not unfamiliar with late-night gaming sessions. Turns out he was an avid chess player, and it was said that the president, quote, enjoyed the game to the utmost, but had to deny himself even this pleasure when it repeatedly carried him into late hours of the night. If Doritos and Mountain Dew had been invented for this guy, I'm sure he would have been chowing down on those too like a true gamer. Secondly, he proved himself to have an ability to win in unconventional ways. Sometimes he wasn't even trying to. Case in point, the way he actually became president. During the election of 1880, Garfield, then a lowly congressman cranking out mathematical proofs, went to the Republican National Convention to give a speech in support of fellow Ohioan and Secretary of State John Sherman. However, the the party couldn't find a majority consensus between Sherman, former President Ulysses S. Grant, and Senator James Blaine of Maine. The party did 35 rounds of voting before they decided on a compromise, picking Garfield, who wasn't even running. Garfield just straight up Among Us'd his way into the White House. Kinda sus if you ask me, but hey, in the world of gaming, a win is a win.
Right.
So there you have it,
Ain't no
friendos.
sus
President
here.
James Garfield. You, sir, have been formally recognized and placed in the most
give him
powerful
some
seat in
lasagna.
all of the internet.
Give him some
But before we
lasagna.
send you in to destroy Biden, Trump, and Obama in their next match at Tetris, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of gamer and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of internet memes. Wait, Garfield doesn't have himself an AI voice synthesis? Get on that, boys. This man demands
go.
your respect.
Must.
All hail to the chief, the Master Chief. But hey,
Matt Pat, why didn't I get a mention?
Because you're not a winner, Joe.
Then why wasn't I mentioned? I'm also a winner.
Shut up, Richard. People only know who you are because of Futurama.
You want to go, Barack? I'll beat you in anything. Bully, sounds like we've got a good old-fashioned game of digital fisticuffs.
and I have just the game for you guys to duke it out in. The sponsor for today's episode, Warpath.
Cause it's a game theory. Let me bring you in, chat. Dude, I love when we get these random videos from Matt Pat, you know, that aren't just, it's nice to switch it up, right? You know, obviously we got the big FNAF, big Minecraft, pop playtime videos, but every now and then it's fun to just get this, like last one, the Miss Lemon and Mr. Tomato or whatever. I mean, that was actually super freaking weird and kind of scary, but dude, I love this. And whoever thought of this concept of presidents using AI to make presidents play games is pretty brilliant. I mean, it's great entertainment, it's funny, it's hilarious, it's everything you want. But thank you, Matt Pat, for making a video on which president would be the best gamer. I appreciate that, and now it's nice to know that Garfield would win at everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you show Matt Pat at Game Theory some love by subscribing to his channel. If you enjoyed my reaction, please help support the channel by smashing that subscribe and like button. It's absolutely free, and it greatly helps out the channel. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and remember, it's eat, sleep, and make beats, and as usual, be kind of one another. That's all I got. Boom, I'm out. Gah! Got a bit of love for the sauce gang. Peace out, sauce gang.